Alright. Let's keep going. Traveling at a pace you have trouble matching, and discovering small clues you would never have found, the tracker leads you through the dark wood. Eventually you come upon a huge cave. A monster which resembles a huge insect, though much more formidable, stands guard outside. The trail leads here, into that cave. I've seen this cave before. There is no exit. Your quarry lies inside. The creature guarding the entrance is a Charlatan. I've only encountered their like once or twice before, and I can tell you this. If you spill its blood, every drop will grow into a duplicate of the monster. Only by killing it before it bleeds, usually with a precise thrust through its heart, can you keep it from regenerating. A sloppy attack and you'll have an army of these things to contend with. Usually the best way to deal with this type of beast is to avoid it. I don't think you've got that luxury, though. If you're going into the cave, you'll have to go through the Charlatan. My obligation to you is over. I've led you to the end of the trail. The people of my village need my help, so I must return. Good luck. The tracker bolts into the wood. Between one moment and the next, you've lost all trace of him. You're now alone, save for the delightful company of the Charlatan, of course. A mountain rises from the forest here. A cave leads into it. Just outside, a terrifying monster stands guard. We have an arrow. Do we have anything to make it? We do. A bone and some cord. You tie the ends of the elastic tendon to the arched bone. The result is a serviceable bow, however primitive. Well, let's shoot the arrow. With amazing accuracy, far more than you would have expected from such a primitive bow, you loose the arrow at the monster. The arrow penetrates straight through its heart, and the beast falls dead before a drop of its blood can fall. Unfortunately, the arrow has buried itself so deeply into the creature, it can't be retrieved. Let's go into the cave. You walk toward the cave, but a familiar wave of fear washes over you. The leaden weight of terror pulls you to your knees. You can't force yourself into the opening. Well, let's drink the null water. Okay, we already know that. Let's save. And then go inside. Stalagmites and stalactites with knife-sharp edges stipple in the cave. In the midst of them, Sang-Drax waits patiently for you. Alright. I got news for you. We're gonna crush the stone. You press on the stone and it collapses in the palm of your hand like a wad of paper. The green glow explodes around you, blinding you. When the spinning colors fade, you see that somehow the stone has summoned Zifnab mounted on top of his dragon. You're so stunned by the sight that you drop the bottle you carry to the cave floor where it shatters. Sang-Drax hisses with anger and disbelief. His fury takes control, and lightning quick, he lashes out at the pair. He tries to bury his fangs into the neck of the new dragon to inject his deadly venom into its body, but Zifnab's dragon is too fast. He rakes a claw across Sang-Drax's face and forces him back into the cave wall. The impact shakes the cave and stuns Sang-Drax. The good dragon takes the opportunity to place Zifnab out of harm's way, but Sang-Drax springs up and pounces while the other dragon's back is turned. His claws rip through the thin membrane covering the good dragon's wings. When the good dragon finally forces Sang-Drax away, he is left with strips of loose flesh hanging from the bones that once supported his glorious wings. He retreats from Sang-Drax, dragging his wings and leaving a trail of blood behind him. Sang-Drax laughs and positions himself for the death blow. Sang-Drax leaps, but Zifnab's dragon dies beneath the attack, less wounded than he appeared to be. He sinks his teeth into Sang-Drax's exposed underbelly and tears a sizable chunk of flesh from its chest. Sang-Drax screams and races away from the fight, towards the back of the cave. He sinks into the darkness until all you see are two red glowing eyes. You haven't beaten me, Sang-Drax rasps. When I've led Zar to the vortex, he'll reform the world, and this place will be no more. I don't think you'll survive, but if somehow you do, we'll meet again, and then I'll have my revenge. The red eyes wink out, and Sang-Drax is gone. The dragon's beauty is marred by horrible red wounds along his back. His eyes are half-idled. Not in sleep this time, but in pain. Let's talk to Zifnab. And I was just getting into the shower. You call the most inopportune times, Haplo. Zifnab looks around the cave. You've a knack for getting into trouble, my boy, and this is a doozy. My. face to face with the embodiment of evil. You've had a full day, and look what happened to my dragon. I'm afraid this is going to have to come out of your security deposit. That's all the rock did? Summon you? What did you expect it to do? Wasn't that enough? I think that I did a mite better than you would have in this fight. The dragon looks at him sideways. Well, I did have a little help. Nonetheless, we saved your bacon, and I think we deserve a little gratitude. My thanks. Zipnab grunts. Of course you do. It's always nice to have the side of good rescue you from certain death. Every time it happens to me, I get goosebumps. There's nothing better, I tell you, except maybe a really good pastrami sandwich with extra mayo. What a weird guy. No, I think I could take him. Well, you may get your chance. Remember, Sang-Drax is still on the loose, and my dragon doesn't look like he'd survive another direct confrontation. It may be up to you after all. I'm glad you have so much confidence. I'd be willing to take odds if you'd like to wager on your success. I'll give you, let's see, 300 to 1. Sound fair? Why did you let him escape? I didn't see you there slugging it out with Sang-Drax. I think my dragon did an admirable job in driving him off. Sang-Drax is weak and desperate. He'll be much more likely to make a mistake now. Where'd he go? He slipped out of the portal. You see, thousands of years ago, Sama hid the magic portal to the vortex in the labyrinth. Here in this cave, to be exact. He figured that it would be the safest place to do so. No one would come back into the labyrinth to find it. The portal leads directly to the outskirts of the vortex. We must assume that Sang-Drax has already escorted Zar there. In fact, they'll probably go directly to the floating island. Very soon Zar will begin the reformation, unless we stop him. There's the dragon all right. He doesn't look good. Sang-Drax did quite a job on his wings. He got his comeuppance, though. Did you see those wounds on his face and chest? Those will smart for a few hundred years, mark my words. He won't even be able to change form to heal them. When you get wounds like that, they stay for dinner. Well, what am I supposed to do now? Well, that's simple. We go after him. We have to stop him before he leads Zar to the center of the vortex. They have all of the seal pieces which you were so kind as to supply, so nothing stands in the way of the reformation. Whenever you're ready, I'll take us through the portal to the vortex. Alright, let's go. Very well. Climb up on my dragon and I'll take us all through. Before you get very far, Zipnab stops you. My dragon is wounded, Mr. Insensitive. Why don't you get rid of some of that heavy junk that you've been toting around? It'll make the trip that much easier for him. With a shrug, you go through your belongings and toss aside everything that appears useless. After you've done, Zipnab doesn't say anything more about it, so you guess that you've offloaded enough. You and Zipnab mount the wounded dragon. Zipnab traces a complex spell which grows to a glowing hoop in space, large enough even to accommodate the dragon. Painfully, the dragon steps through, and, thunderclap later, you arrive at the edge of the vortex.